Flash readings. There are 3 pairs of toes that I am going to be reading in this video. And when I do a flash reading, what I'm looking at is the top 2 or 3 messages that the toes are communicating. And so let's start. So with these toes, as always, right foot is how we relate to our external world. Left foot is our internal world. So the first message that I see in this foot and in these toes is actually right here in the right foot, where this toe, and just for contrast, if we look at the difference between these 2 toes, we've got a sharp edge here. Both toes are definitely pointing, both big toes are definitely pointing towards the little toe. And this one has a very sharp point to it. So this is life path toe. So the question to ask this toe, this is the toe that has to do with our life path, our career, the direction that we are headed in our material world. And so the question here would be, what is my life path calling to me? What is the universe asking me to do? And how am I and am I not showing up for that? There is clearly, from the angle of this toe, you are not living your life path to its full potential right now. What we would like to see ideally is this toe to be straight, to come up, to not have this bend. In what areas of your life are you compromising yourself, not speaking your truth, or subordinating in some way to some other type of authority or belief system? I see this show up a lot in women, specifically who stay quiet in order to, and I put this in quotation marks, to keep the peace. They stay quiet to keep the peace because speaking out feels dangerous. Speaking out feels like it could rock the boat. Speaking out feels like you're going to have to justify everything that you feel. And that is happening here. So what would happen, and I would recommend some light manipulation where you're pushing this way on this toe and this way on this toe and asking, what is my life path telling me right now? What is the universe communicating to me? Because it is showing up in your toe that there's something that is amiss. And the same thing with your spirit path toe. However, I feel that your spirit path toe is going to rectify itself when this life path toe does it. The spirit path toe has something to do with the life path toe. That's message 1. Message 2, if we look at your toes in here, so this is, about a halfway point in your life. So however old you are now, go back between now and when you were born, about half the years. There is a lot of buildup. Perhaps you felt like you needed to defend yourself, protect yourself, justify yourself. And so you built up walls. And this has to do with this compromising yourself, because you are strong. You completely made it through. You are protected. You've got these calluses on your toes. And what's I find very interesting about your toes is you've got a lot of them here at this halfway point, but you have created a life situation for yourself now where you do feel safer, because we're not seeing, as life tracks in our toes, this up here at the top is the most recent thing. And then the closer we get to the foot, that's farther back. So again, this halfway point in your life, what there needs to be released? What are you still holding on to in patterns, belief systems, and thought patterns that it's just time to release and let go? And so I would recommend, like with some coconut oil or something, to just create a slickness and a smoothness, to just gently massage those toes, especially there where you have that callousing, with the intention of releasing what no longer serves you. And we're still feeling the energy from the Scorpio new moon and the Taurus full moon from last month. It is November 2022 right now. We still have that energy, and that is a very perfect time to eliminate and to distill. Scorpio is about transformation. Pluto, its ruler, is about distillation and distilling, and its traditional ruler, Mars, is about taking action. So it's time for you to take action right now in releasing these outdated thought, belief, and action patterns. You are a high value communicator. You can see this with these longer second toes. Communication is very, very important to you. Expression is very important to you. And in this life path toe, this ability to express and to communicate at your highest level is very important, because this communication and expression, this is an innate gift that you have. And you also, like, you got the action to back it up. These third toes, these are your action toes, and they're nice and long and straight. So what you communicate, what you express, you are wanting to take action on. You are definitely an action taker. So take this action to massage the middle of these toes, reflecting on a halfway point in your life to this point, and what can be released. What are you holding on to from that time that it's time to be released? And then with this life path and spirit path, specifically the life path, because the spirit path is going to take care of itself with that life path, is what are you being called to do at this point in your life? I know that you're starting to enter middle age. Having a middle age reading with me would be a very good idea, so that you can see where you are now and where you're headed as far as what's happening astrologically, and what you can kind of expect for the next really 10 to 12 years of your life. So those are the top 3 messages from your toes right now for the flash reading. Okay, looking at these toes, the first thing that I see when I look at these toes is blocked energy. So a question for you is, what are you hanging on to? What thought patterns are you hanging on to? And what is it time to release? You've got a lot of callousing going on these toes. You have built up walls to protect yourself. When you look at this toe and these first 2 toes, they're just leaning right into each other. And then you got this bigger space here between your second and third toes. And so sometimes you talk about things, you think about things, you express things, but you don't always take action. So it's time to take action on your ideas. You need to make sure that you are highly grounded. You've got this little lift on these fifth toes, and those are actually your earth toes. And so when you ground all the way through your body, down through your root chakra, down through your legs, your feet, your toes, and those little toes, ground those into the center of the earth. And what are your blocks around trust and prosperity? As you massage these little toes, really sink into that question. What are your blocks there? What is it time to let go? The other thing that I'm seeing here is, are you feeling scarred by your past? Like, what past experiences are influencing your present thinking? Of course, past thoughts and experiences always influence present thinking, but these are fear-based. These are low vibration thought and belief patterns from the past. So I'm seeing this because of the shape of your toenails, where you, like, literally the past is eating you. So dive into what that means. Massage those toes and find out what that means. And you have fear about the future. I can see just a little bit of a ingrown or some irritation or something going on right here. What do you fear about the future? It's time to journal about that. There's some things that it's time for you to express. You can see that in these communication toes. Kind of the same thing as with these life path and spirit path toes. The past is eating you. What is there to let go? Those are the top 3 messages from those toes. And let's move on to these cute pedicure toes. So when I look at these toes, there are a couple of really top messages that are coming through. One is you have a very prominent 6th toe. Not actually a 6th toe, but this protrusion here from the outside of your foot. The people who have a 6th toe have a global perspective and the potential for global impact. And so in what ways, exploring that question, in what ways do you have a global perspective? In what ways can you make a global impact? Now, the other thing that I'm seeing is this snuggling up here of your life path toe and your communication toe, snuggling up to the point that you may be stifling your intuition and you may be playing small in your leadership. So the space that we have between these toes, I can see that there is some space down here. And yet these 2 toes, they're so snuggly that you are likely playing small in your potential for leadership. And this opening right here, it is your channel of intuition. And so you are blocking your intuition. And it's because you have a lot of blocked energy in these toes. You could do with some Epsom salt baths and just gentle massaging to release that blocked energy from the past. Now, actually, the number 1 message I'm seeing in your toes are these relationship toes. Okay, the 4th toe. When our 4th toes are about relationships. And when you look at your feet and your toes, those are actually the most prominent toes. Like the most untrained person looking at toes would see, their eyes would immediately be drawn to these relationship toes. So relationships are highly important to you. They are a high priority for you. In fact, they feed your soul. And you've got some blocked energy in these toes, in your relationship with others, and particularly in your relationship with yourself. And so my top recommendation for you is to take these 4th toes, these relationship toes, and just gently rub. And you can see what I'm doing with my fingers. I'm rubbing down on the underside and up on the upper side. And just going like this so that I'm pushing the energy down to get it circulated and almost in this circular motion through those toes while asking myself questions about relationships. What relationship energy is it time to shift? What can you do to improve your relationship with self? What thought patterns and belief patterns from the past are negatively influencing your relationships for now? And I strongly recommend really working on these relationship toes, especially as it pertains to starting any new relationships. And again, with this 6th toe, you're going to have a lot of people come in and out of your life. You are a global impactor. Ooh. When I yawn on these readings, it is confirmation. It is an energy release that what I'm saying, what I'm channeling for you is for your highest and best good and is true for you. So these relationship toes, massage them and ask yourself some of these questions and any other questions that come into your mind.